good? It's your boy Two Troll in the building. I'm at the latest location of Sunset Bagels on 4th Avenue, off of 36th Street in Brooklyn, New York, in Sunset Park. It's, they got a lot of like political statements around there, but it's all good. Bagels are still good, and the coffee's great. Surprising for Sunset Park, but well, I'm biased. I think Bensonhurst produces the best coffee, but this place produced some pretty good coffee. I'll give them that. But anyway, yes. Speaking of the political stuff, I know a lot of people get upset when I post like a lot of Trump-related stuff, but because I find it funny. And people are like, well, that's no laughing matter. Unless you're talking about getting rid of Donald Trump, this is no laughing matter. Yes, it is. Okay? We've had animated characters in the White House since 1993. Okay? Every last one of them since George H.W. Bush was an animated character. Yes, even Barack Obama. Okay, and the problem is that you have your handful of people that vote for substance that can't grasp the fact that they're outnumbered by people that don't vote for substance. They vote for animated characters. They vote for animated characters. I mean, come on. You can't tell me that Bill Clinton wasn't a buffoon. You can't tell me that George W. Bush wasn't a buffoon. And in some essence, Barack Obama was a character too. But, he came off as that, that cool, smooth-talking character. With the snippy remarks. I like to make Bill Clinton the Democratic answer to Ronald Reagan. It might be, I believe it may well be Barack Obama, because he came off as a sharp, witty guy, and as did Ronald Reagan. I'm talking about perception. I'm not talking about actual substance and what they did as president. Obviously, Reagan left office with a lot more satisfied Americans than Barack Obama. That is fact. And most of the polls would, coincide with what I just said. But anyway, what I'm saying, moral to this is that people don't vote for substance, they vote for characters. If somebody has charisma, or at least if they're an animated character, they get the vote. John Kerry was boring. That's the only reason why John Kerry lost the 2004 election. He was boring. Why didn't George H.W. Bush get a second term? He was boring. His opponent was that cool guy getting up on the Arsenio Hall show playing the saxophone. He was that cool guy that drove a Mustang. He was that cool guy that admitted to smoking pot but didn't inhale. Okay, things like that. He was that cool guy that cheated on his wife with the young hot chick. If you want to call Monica Lewinsky hot. I mean, I'd say she's pretty in the face, But anyway, things like that. So, like I said, people vote for animated characters. Again, George W. Bush. He beat John McCain, ultimately beaten Al Gore, okay, to become president. Al Gore he was trying to amp it up, trying to build in some kind of a fan base, but he was boring. And that's what it was, is that they wanted the cowboy in there. And that's how George W. Bush became president. He was a little bit cooler. He was a little bit cooler than his dad. You know? It's like, okay, we had the ex-pothead as president, now we're gonna have the ex-cokehead, who we suspect might still be on coke, and we're gonna elect him because his opponent, the incumbent vice president, is boring. And that's what happened. Gore was a bore. And that's why he didn't become president. It doesn't matter what his policies were. It doesn't matter if he had great policies that would have, had everybody driving electric cars today. He was boring. People don't vote for boring candidates. Okay? Hillary Clinton was boring. Okay? Bill had more charisma than Hillary. That's why Bill Clinton became president, got reelected, retired as one of the most popular presidents in U.S. history, and his wife flunked in the primaries in 2008 and flunked in the general election in 2016. She was boring. God, let's face it. Who's more animated than Donald Trump? Okay? People want characters in place. Look at Ed Koch. Ed Koch served what, 3 terms? Ed Koch served 3 terms as mayor of New York. Why do you think that was the case? I mean, all right, crime went down a little bit since Beam was mayor. But really, you still had neighborhoods you couldn't go to. I'm sitting here in Sunset Park where I know I would have been in danger sitting here if this was the Koch administration. I liked him. I thought he was funny. I thought he was a better mayor than Beam. I thought he was a better mayor than Lindsay. I thought he was a better mayor than Dinkins. You know what? I'll go one further. I thought he was a better mayor than Bloomberg. But let's face it, he wasn't the best mayor that the city ever had. He was one of the better ones in my lifetime, but not the best the city ever had. And he got elected not once, not twice, but 3 times because he was animated. He was funny. He was entertaining. He lost the primaries to David Dinkins only because people wanted to roll the dice, get our first black mayor in. And they picked the wrong guy for that. I think if Ben Ward would have ran for mayor, he would have been a better choice. He would have eventually died in office, but he would have been the better choice than David Dinkins, in my opinion. That is, if you're going to elect black people. And it's like, I found it like, and this proves it, this proves it. Because let's face it, Giuliani really didn't have much of a personality, and David Dinkins did, David Dinkins did have an edge over Giuliani in personality-wise. Okay? And he had catchy phrases like, "Don't diss your sis," and things like that. And that's what got him in. That's what got him past Giuliani. Giuliani was a guy that put some of the city's most hardened criminals in jail, okay? And he couldn't get elected mayor versus Dinkins. Goes to show you, people don't vote for substance, they vote for who's the animated character. And it took this city plummeting for them to finally say, Rudy, we're sorry, we voted against you. Here's our vote now. And that's how Rudy Giuliani got elected to 2 terms. And whether Bloomberg wants to admit it or not, Giuliani's 2 terms were the reason why he got his 3 terms. You know, he always likes to diss the previous administration, but meanwhile, Giuliani was the one who endorsed him and rallied behind him becoming mayor, and it was his endorsement that got him to become mayor, that got him elected mayor. Okay, and whether people like Giuliani or not, the city became a safer place to walk around in. And that is fact. You know, sitting here in Sunset Park, I gotta tell you, it's not because of David Dinkins that I could sit safely here in Sunset Park. Nor is it because of Ed Koch, nor is it because of Michael Bloomberg. Okay? So you do the math and figure out who the mayor was in between that made it safe for me to sit here in Sunset Park without getting jumped with an expensive mobile device in my hand broadcasting this video. So that's all I'm saying, is that people don't vote for substance, they vote for animated characters. Hillary Clinton just wasn't animated enough. She was boring. Guess what? Bernie Sanders, he's boring. He's boring. So he could talk socialist this, socialist that, democratic socialism. He's boring. Joe Biden is going to wipe the floor with him for the Democratic nomination. I'll tell you one further. I'd be surprised. I'd actually be shocked and have a heart attack if Bill de Blasio doesn't get past Bernie Sanders in the primaries. I don't see him beating Biden, but I could see him getting past Bernie Sanders. Again, because de Blasio's a character. Joe Biden's a character. Joe Biden is so much a character, he might give Trump a run for his money.
You want me to pass your coffee, sir? You want to hold it?
But people are going to look around, they're going to say, you know what? We already have a funny character in office, and guess what? This funny character... and that's another thing. When you put funny characters against each other, like Joe Biden against Donald Trump, they're going to look around and this is where substance actually does come into play. And they're going to say, okay, that funny character was part of a failing administration. This funny character is part of an administration where these numbers look like this. And whether or not the administration deserves the credit for it, they're getting the credit for it anyway. And they're going to get the vote because of it. People look at it, doesn't matter if it's actually residual from a previous administration. If people look around and see the numbers getting better in the current administration, they reward the current administration with re-election. That's just how the voter mentality is. That's how the average Joe's voter mentality is. Am I diminishing the credit? Or am I taking a credit away from the intelligence of the voter? I'm not doing that. I'm just giving credit to campaigners' ability to distract the voter. So I'm not taking credit away from. I'm not taking credit away from the intelligence of the voter. I'm actually handing credit of illusion, the gift of illusion, to people who put out these, people who run these campaigns for these candidates. And yes, people get distracted from the issues by antics and animation. And let's face it, whether he's a good president or not, we could debate all day on that. I believe he should be treated like a member of the human race. I believe he should be acknowledged and treated as a member of the human race. I don't believe there should be a call to stomp on the President of the United States' face. I think that's not very nice. I think that's very mean. Would you do that? Would you do that to a random panhandler? No. So don't call to have that done to the President of the United States or people who support him, because both are members of the human race. But it's debatable on whether or not he's doing a good job as president. But the fact of the matter is, he's animated. He draws attention. People want entertainment, even in positions of political power. They want entertainers there, and by that rationale, that would make the incumbent the perfect man for the job, as he started his campaign trail for re-election. And now that I killed close to 18 minutes of your time, I'm going to say this. Coming from the streets of Sunset Park, Brooklyn, this is your boy, MC Too Tall. Stay strong. Keep kicking that slang. Are you entertained?